Today we'll be talking about some of the data releases from the U.S. housing market. New Zealand still hemorrhaging, massive sell-offs, and Euro did also have a CPI release. Let's talk about everything here at Capital Markets. What's going on, traders? Welcome back, guys, to Capital Markets. I'm your host, Cleveland Bishop, and here at Capital Markets, we give you guys the technicals and the fundamentals every single day to give you guys an edge. So make sure you guys subscribe. Otherwise, you won't be notified when we release these videos. And also, if you guys ever have any questions, comment down below. Our team will be right there to help you, okay? Whether it's technical analysis, whether it's fundamental analysis, whatever you have questions about, we're right there. We're experts on the subject, and we're here to help, okay? The housing market in the U.S. just released a lot of data for last month, and it seems like the market is somewhat at a standstill. We saw business permits out, and it was on par at 1.35 million business permits. But if you look at new home starts, we did get a lower than expected number. Now, we're not seeing so much of that affect our actual currencies, but you always have to understand that housing markets, it's somewhat of a lagging indicator, right? If people aren't buying homes, it may be because they're not making enough money, or they just don't have the capital savings, or interest rates potentially are going to be increasing. Those are some of the variables there that are going to keep people from buying homes. And as the Fed potentially starts to increase rates, we will see the housing market slow down a bit, okay? But what usually happens when the housing market slows down, sometimes you'll have an economy with more money in their pocket, so you might see retail sales tick up a bit, okay? You may also see CPI start to increase just a bit based off of those retail sales numbers. So we'll always keep an eye on the U.S. housing data. Again, a lagging indicator. You may see that affect more or less massive funds, right? If you ever are in the ETF business, or if you ever are playing in equities, you may see that market start to be affected by U.S. housing data, but you see it lagging a bit when it comes to currencies, unless it's just some massively different data release than what was expected, okay? Outside of that, we still, remember, we had the retail sales data come out. Retail sales a little bit less than expected. If you look at the dollar index, though, here's a quick screenshot. You guys can see the dollar index is still somewhat holding those highs. We've had a pullback just a bit. Right now, the euro is sitting right at $1.18. Where is this market going to go? We did have Draghi speak yesterday, and Draghi usually silent about monetary policy. He doesn't usually sway too much to give investors and to give all these different economists an idea as to what he's going to do. So his speech yesterday probably didn't affect markets too much. You guys can see that the euro is seeing a little bit of an up move when you see across all the assets. But more or less, I think that's just a pullback from the euro just kind of really having a really bad week and a really bad quarter, honestly, for the past few months or so. Outside of that, folks, New Zealand has been something that I've been keeping an eye on. And if you look at all the New Zealand crosses, even look at the US dollar versus the New Zealand dollar right now, you guys can see that we're still seeing a sell-off. GBP NZD, we're seeing a massive move higher. That is very interesting stuff. What is happening with New Zealand? We know that compared to the Aussie, we are seeing a weakening, and that definitely means that New Zealand is not having such a good time. I think that deals a lot with, again, the overall economy in New Zealand deals a lot with cows, which is pretty interesting, pigskins. They do have a very big metals business, but more than anything, I'm thinking China's having a massive effect as to what's happening in New Zealand overall. And the monetary policy there right now is they're trying to raise those rates, but they've been having a hard time based off of the retail sales numbers. And we are going to have some CPI data coming out for New Zealand shortly. I think it's coming out next week, definitely this month. We will see if that CPI data is going to have any kind of impact, but more or less, New Zealand is not seeing the effect that the U.S. is seeing and that maybe Canada is seeing in terms of this increase in CPI. Usually all these things happen unilaterally, but New Zealand's kind of falling short. And from a global perspective, New Zealand is definitely one of the worst performing currencies. So if you've been shorting that market, you've been doing quite well. All right, so we'll keep an eye there on the New Zealand dollar. We have some hope that definitely CPI comes out positive for New Zealand. We'll see an increase, and maybe we can even catch that move. We'll be doing that over in our capital market broker, of course. And to close the week off, we still have CPI data that is soon to be released from Canada. Maybe that is going to give some kind of move to the Canadian dollar. Right now, Canada somewhat at a standstill, at least versus the U.S. We're seeing markets consolidate. If we get any kind of positive data for Canada, there's a pretty massive level here that if that positive data comes out, we'll be shorting and being able to break that lower structure. Here's a quick screenshot there. Would love for that market, for that to happen, but again, it's all going to depend on what happens fundamentally, okay? So guys, make sure you guys stay tied into what's happening from the fundamental perspective. Loop that back around and give yourself a good technical picture to be able to get your stop loss, entry, and target. And those are capabilities, of course, that you can actually use inside of a capital-markets.com broker. We have some of the best spreads, and we route from some of the best liquidity providers in the entire industry, okay? And the way the broker is set up, it gives you guys an advantage because, again, you want to have your stops, you want to have your entries, you want to have your target, and you want that to be easily read. Capital-markets.com and the Capital Markets broker is definitely the best place to be trading, all right? So guys, get your account started today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Let's see what happens in these markets and trade safe, okay? Make sure you guys stay subscribed. Comment down below if you have any questions. I'm Cleveland Bishop. I'll talk to you guys very soon.